Hello, hello, and ahoy, hoy. Welcome once again to another episode of Tootie'S Toy Box, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a week, and what a week it's been, actually. The weather's been weird here in the state of California. We get so sketchy about rain. So everybody's being weird. Everybody's driving weird. It's just a weird time in LA, but I am absolutely embracing the weather, to be honest. I love when it rains. It doesn't happen very, very often. And, you kind of just have to use your common sense just a little bit more than usual when it rains here in California. And a lot of Californians don't seem to understand that. So that happens to be all the trouble with that. But either way, nonetheless, thank you guys so much for being here. I hope you guys are having a wonderful week. The holidays are kicking off. And I, for one, I'm a cheese ball, so I'm extremely excited for the holidays. I'm ready for the season to start, and I'm ready for it to end by January 2nd. So I'm looking forward to all of it. Again, welcome. Welcome to Tootie'S Toy Box. If you're new to this channel, please do me a favor, leave a sub or a thumbs up. Both are free to do. If you like what we're doing here on Tootie'S Toy Box, it'd be really, really appreciated. And honestly, it just lets me know that I'm doing something right, regardless of how many things that I'm doing wrong. So thank you guys so much. So today, on tonight's episode, we will be discussing the movie V for Vendetta, which came out in 2005. There's a lot going on during that time, actually, in 2005. 2005 was one of the first years where America started to gain her confidence back. Just 4 years prior, we had the tragedy of 9/11. Hashtag never forget, right? So we're still very fresh out of the 9/11 era, and the country was just getting its feet settled back into a routine, to be honest, where we start to feel safe again. So this movie actually came at an interesting time where it was developing this idea of anarchy and internal war, as opposed to having us focus on the war that was already happening at the time. I believe we were still in Iraq or Afghanistan. Anyway, we were overseas, and we were balls deep in this war at the time. So it was interesting that they would release a film such as that in the year that they did, just again 4 years prior to 9/11, given the subject matter in this film. So we're gonna get really, really into it. We're gonna go deep. We're gonna go a little bit deep on this one. As you guys know, if you have been watching in previous episodes, I am no stranger to conspiracy theories. I love them. I involve myself heavily in them a lot. Because there's a lot of truth to these theories. Hold on, let me pull up my chat just in case. You never know. You never know. Why does it say private? It should be public. I don't know what that means. What is that? Okay. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't check to see if I was actually live, so I should probably do that. YouTube really wants me to renew stuff. Okay, let's see. Okay, there it is. It's live. Oh, good. My phone. Yeah, there we go. Okay, good. So it's there. Had to check. I have nobody to check it for me. In fact, since I'm here, let me turn my phone down just a tad. All right. So we're good to go, which is good. That's good. See, I'm doing my job. So this movie, V for Vendetta, was actually based off of a graphic novel or comic book of the same name. It was a DC comic. I think it's DC/Dark Horse. If I'm wrong, my bad. Please don't chop my head off, nerds. But the comic book was created by writer Alan Moore, and the artist for the graphic novel was David Lloyd. Alan Moore actually wrote some of my favorite graphic novels that were turned into films. For two of them, I saw the film first. For one of them, I read the graphic novel first. Watchmen, I saw the film first and then I read it. V for Vendetta, I saw the film first and then I read it. But Batman the Killing Joke, oh my God, so good. Read it first and then watched the film. Love them both. So Alan Moore has my heart, especially with this one, V for Vendetta being my favorite out of all three. Again, for obvious reasons, I'm a huge conspiracy head. I obviously fight. I used to. I have to say used to. I don't so much anymore. But I was a diehard protester. I I never trusted the government after 9/11 when I was 17 and being 17, my eyes were wide open to not trusting a word that the news says, not trusting a word that the government says. In fact, I remember being 19 in the summertime between college, actually wrote this entire like 3-page editorial for no reason. Again, I was not in school, but for no reason, about how America is now a police state. I was nuts. I was a nuts kid. But you couldn't tell me any different. And honestly, even today, there's a lot you can't tell me any different about this country. So, man, I'm gonna get fired up while we talk about this. I promise you, this movie changed so much. It gave me confidence to continue the fight, to continue the journey into exploring things that I have questions about. And it kind of helped mold the person that I am today, to be honest. So yeah, let's get into it. Oh, I want to talk a little bit more about the graphic novel, actually. Graphic novel, very similar to the movie, but it's post-nuclear war in Great Britain. In the comic book, it is set in the 1990s. In the movie, it's set in the future. I don't know exactly how far in the future. It's come out. It might be present day. It's come out in 2005, and in the film, she speaks about the year 2002. So again, it might have been just a present day film for that time, for the year 2005. um the leader was Adam Susan in the graphic novel adaptation, and he basically had this agenda of called the Norse Fire agenda, or Norse Fire objective, where he basically created the police state by making himself the head. He had these other delegated agencies, such as the eye, the finger, the nose, the mouth. So he had this whole structural system, which is interesting because that's somewhat biblical. If you're any familiar, there's a lot of similarities to that. So it's funny that a lot of this comes from evangelical standpoints, even though it's absolutely opposite behavior of what that evangelical interpretation actually was. So I thought that was kind of creative. That was pretty interesting. Um, but the finger. So with the finger in the graphic novel, we get the fingermen in the movie, who are the actual riffraff police. They're not law enforcement by any means. They're plainclothes gentlemen who, it seems, volunteers their services to basically take control and beat people. And I'm just doing my job type stuff. Except it seems they're voluntary in the movie. I'm not really sure. Don't quote me on that. Also, in the graphic novel, Evie is actually 16 when V saves her life. Yeah, this the adaptation of the graphic novel actually focuses heavily on fascism and anarchy, but I would imagine making Evie a 16-year-old in the film would have probably brought up more issues and problems, considering the way the film went. So she's a little bit older in the film. I think she is, let's guess, she's in her early 20s in the film, still very young. But yeah, so there's that. In the movie, let's get started on the actual movie, V for Vendetta. Again, like I said, it came out in 2005, post 9/11, just fresh from 9/11 still, even though it had been, and it was 4 years since. Still a short time to try to get over something, you know what I mean? Especially something as tragic as that, especially given that most of the country actually witnessed it on TV. The whole world witnessed it on TV. So there's that. Um, excuse me. In the movie, Chancellor Sutler. In the movie, I'm going to read my notes. Chancellor Sutler runs a fascist dystopian regime in the UK, whereby V vows to destroy it, inspired by Guy Fawkes and his own personal sufferings for the perfect revenge. So that's my personal synopsis on this movie. Um, So let's talk about it. So in the beginning of the movie, I do have clips for you guys, by the way. It worked my butt off trying to figure it out. So hopefully it's coming out right. Let me know. Let me know in the chat if audio is good, if you can hear it, if it's too loud. That way I can adjust it for the next video. Won't be able to do it this video. My bad. Too late. gotta deal with it. But so in the beginning, it starts off with Evie, and she's getting ready. You see her doing her hair, and it looks like she's getting ready to go on a date. So she's getting ready, and as she's getting ready, she's watching something on the television or the telly, right? She's watching something on the television, and it's this evangelical fella talking about gays and this and that. And I think, in my opinion, he's supposed to be like a mix of Alex Jones and um, Rush Limbaugh. I think more than anybody, probably more Rush Limbaugh than Alex Jones. He wasn't as popular back then, even though he was around. I think it was supposed to be more of a Rush Limbaugh type, and I think the thing that he ends with that just absolutely sickens her is like, "I'm a damn good Englishman, and I'm damn proud of it," or something to that effect. And she grabs her remote and she says, "That's quite enough," and she turns the TV off. She makes her way out the door. As she makes her way out, fingermen actually meet her um, as she's walking about, because she's left the house after curfew. Now, because it is a police state, they're not allowed out after a certain time. I'm thinking it's 10 p.m. I don't remember for sure if it was actually mentioned, but she is caught walking out past curfew. They threaten her. They actually threaten to take advantage of her before sending her off. In that moment, V shows up, and he shows up. He's beating the shit out of them. He doesn't kill any of them in this, which I find quite interesting. He doesn't introduce himself to us, the audience, and to Evie in a violent manner any more so than just roughing them up and beating them up. And he does do a great job at beating on them. Where it was, hold on, I got commercial. All right, where it's uh just enough violence. It's just enough violence for her to be apprehensive, but then she does recognize that he did save me, right? So I do have one clip for you guys that I'm ready to pull up now. I think it's ready to go. So let's see. This is where Evie meets V. Oh, I gotta press play.
Jesus Christ!
We're off to blame in this 'tis too much proved that with devotion's visage and pious action we do sugar o'er the devil himself.
What's that mean?
Spare the rod. I can assure you I mean you no harm.
Who are you?
Who? Who is but the form following the function of what, and what I am is a man in a mask.
Well, I can see that.
Of course you can. I'm not questioning your powers of observation. I'm merely remarking upon the paradox of asking a masked man who he is.
Oh, right.
But on this most awesome...
Oh yeah, I forgot I did that. Okay, so I have to go up to the next one, which is this one. So that's how he meets her. There we go. That's how he meets her. She's clearly shaken up, but not enough to where it's enough for her to be completely uncomfortable with him, where she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna flee, I'm gonna leave," and she doesn't leave. In fact, she sticks around with him, and she lets him introduce himself, and he does so in the most brilliant way. The dialogue for a writer. I'm an avid writer. I've done my 10,000 hours. I can call myself a writer. I've put in the work. The words he uses, everything, the way he introduces himself is this giant speech where just about every word starts with V. It's so good. I wanted to play that part for you guys. In fact, okay, let me sidebar. It was so hard finding clips that I can actually share with you guys that were shareable, that were clippable. I'm still going to get copyrighted, I'm sure, but it won't be a strike the way I did it. Hopefully I haven't been stricken at all yet, knock on wood, so that it doesn't actually happen. But yeah, the copyrights do make things harder when it comes to viewership, but not that hard, especially without a strike. So I try to do my best to find the best ones. But anyway, so she sticks around with him. They're talking to each other. They're going back and forth just a little bit. He starts little by little hinting as to his motive for being out there, but he does it in a very poetic way where it's very uh, uh he's just dropping seeds and she's picking them up as he goes along. And we find out later why she does this. Actually, I'll tell you now. Her parents were protesters. They protested against something that happened to them called the Three Waters, where she lost her little brother. They lost their son. So they became radicalized. In that country, they became radicalized. This was unnecessary. This was injustice, blah, blah, blah. So they were protesters. And because they protested, they were caught. They were what was called black bagged, which is quite literally black bagged. They literally pulled bags over their heads, took them away, and they were never seen again. So it seems she's curious about this gentleman because of her own personal history, but neither one of them actually knows this yet, which is really cool. So I do have another scene for you guys that I'm going to play directly after, because this is the scene that happens right after they meet each other. It's a little long. It's a over a minute long, so bear with it. Enjoy it.
Wait! It is to Madame Justice that I dedicate this concerto in honor of the holiday she seems to have taken from these parts, and in recognition of the impostor that stands in her stead. Tell me, do you know what day it is, Evie?
November the 4th.
Not anymore. Remember the 5th of November, the gunpowder, treason, and plot. I know of no reason why the gunpowder treason should ever be forgot. First, the overture. Yes, the strings. Listen carefully, can you hear it? Now the brass.
I can hear it. Look outside, Mummy. What great music. How do you do that?
Wait, here comes the crescendo.
Okay, so the audio on that video is a bit wild. That's my bad. I had to figure out a new way to configure these videos. I did my best. Let's put it that way. I did my best. It is what it is. But that scene alone had me so hooked to this movie. I did see it in the theater. Shout out Mike G. He actually helped me figure out how to reconfigure these videos. So shout out Mike G. Shout out Masters of the Nerdiverse. Go ahead and go follow them. They're actually a great podcast. But yeah, he actually helped me try to convert these videos in different ways since my original system wasn't working. But that scene, I was sold. I was hooked. The way he's so excited and the way he's so glee. He's so full of glee, and he's just conducting the orchestra that isn't there, and he's just so thrilled at what he had accomplished. But what he had accomplished was terrorism in its true form. You destroy government public property in the name of rebellion. It's an act of war, and regardless of how you see it, the law is the law. It's an act of war. She's horrified. Evie is absolutely horrified at what she's watching. But to me, deep down, I feel like she kind of likes it. She's kind of a little bit impressed, but also again horrified. Like you know, the Frogurt is also cursed. You know what I mean? It's that. So that's how they meet. That's their first interaction. Is he saves her life for the first time, several times. He saves her life, and he invites her up into his world. world of revenge, his world of rebellion. He even tells her in his introduction, I told you guys about that speech where he speaks in all V's. One of the things he says is the only, I think he says the only intention, or I forgot what he says, but is vengeance. He tells her he's out for blood. He's avenging people. He's out. He's doing it. He doesn't sugarcoat much. He speaks it cryptically, but he doesn't sugarcoat it at all. So that night, she was actually out to meet Mr. Dietrich, who is their, how can I put it? They're late night hosts. Like when late night was actually popular, it's really not anymore. But when late night was popular, we had several late night hosts that were doing their thing, and this guy happens to be that. Mr. Dietrich is the star of the show, and Evie was invited to go entertain him at his house. So that's where she was headed to go spend some time with Mr. Dietrich. It was supposed to be a date. So she, in fact, was getting ready for a date. So that doesn't happen, right? So the next day she goes into work, oh, Daddy Dietrich was waiting for you, blah, blah, blah. Oh, no, she was like, oh, how was your night with Daddy Dietrich? Because that's what they called him, which is kind of creepy. But she's like, oh, I didn't get to see him. The fingermen were out and I didn't get to blah, blah, blah. She meets up with Daddy Dietrich. She brings him up some tea and she tells him the same thing. Oh, the fingermen were out and I just ended up having to go home. She doesn't mention the bizarre evening that she had. She doesn't mention at all to anybody. So she knows. She knows if she does, she's in trouble. You know what I mean? Oh, you wouldn't believe what happened. Never once did she say, oh, you just, I had this weird night. Like I met this fella, he wore a mask. Nothing. You would think, right? You would think if she was trying to remain innocent in all of it, and if she wasn't so curious that she would say, hey, this happened, and I need to tell you right now, I need to go to police. She doesn't go to the police at all. Why would she? She lost her parents to them, essentially, right? That's in her child mind, because she lost her parents when she was a child. She lost her parents to the people doing their job, right? She wasn't trying to get involved with those people who were just doing their jobs. So she doesn't say anything to anybody. Later on in that scene, when they're trying to gather things up, she's a stagehand or she's behind the scenes. She's some sort of gaffer for the industry there in the BBC. I think it's called BTN, British Television Network. I think it's called BTN over there. And it's so funny because the security guard is watching, what's his name? It's like an Action Jackson type fella, but what's his name? I forgot his name. Something Saxon. Something Saxon is banging. And so the security guard's watching this ridiculous show of like a MacGyver-like fella, Action Jackson-like fella. And it's hilarious because he's absolutely distracted by it. And what makes it funny is as soon as that happens, like everybody's running around, everybody's doing their thing. But then this package comes in. And it's like, oh, I don't know what to do with this. I need to put this to the side before, so I can figure out exactly where it comes from. I don't know whose it is. So somebody unzips it. I think Evie actually does, or her boss opens it. And when they open it, it's several Guy Fawkes masks and capes. And so Evie knows exactly what it is. She just met the guy. She just met the guy wearing the Guy Fawkes masks and the cape. She just met him. So she knows where this package is coming from. She doesn't know why. A few scenes later, it turns out V was about to infiltrate the BTN, and he actually, in fact, does. I didn't save the speech. It's one of the most famous scenes in the entire movie. You can go back. Please watch the movie. Please watch the movie. But he goes and he makes this. Oh, or go to my Instagram. I do have it on my Instagram in one of my reels. Go watch it. Go like it. But he makes this entire speech. He infiltrates. He takes it over. He has all the employees put on a mask and he has them put on a cape. Why? Because he doesn't want to get recognized. They can't shoot all of them. When the military comes in, when the police come in, they can't shoot everybody. Not everybody's a terrorist. Only one of them's a terrorist. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So they're all wearing capes. They're all wearing masks. They're all being held hostage by V. And the only reason why they're able to do this is because V comes in with a bomb. The security guard tells him, oh, go Max Saxon on your ass, or whatever his name is. But and the security guard gets killed. A lot of the other officers get killed. V is actually amazing. One, he's strong as hell, but he's amazing with blades. That's his superpower, if you want to call it that. But he's amazing with blades. He knows how to throw them. He throws them at the right force. He throws them at the right angle. He knows how to aim properly. He knows, so like they have no chance. They have no chance against his speed. You know what I mean? Which is kind of cool because you think, well, you can't dodge a bullet. But we've seen those circus acts, right? Where the guy shoots a bullet and he catches it in his mouth. It's not real. But essentially, that's what V's doing. He's essentially dodging bullets with his knives and this and that. He knows what he's doing, and he's actually doing it well. It's actually done really, really good in the movie. So he ends up getting himself into the newsroom where they're actually doing the news. He sits himself down. He hacks the entire system, and he speaks to his whole country. He speaks to the entire country, and he tells them there's something seriously going wrong in this country, isn't there? And he challenges his citizens to join him. A year from now, yesterday was November 5th. I blew up the Bailey. You guys saw it. A year from now, join me, and we can blow up Parliament together, and we can show them exactly what this country is. This speech is much longer than that, but that's essentially what he's telling his country. Together, we will give them a November 5th that they will never forget. It's so good, and it's so chilling. It's so good. It's so good. That speech. This whole movie had me crying. I'm a 41-year-old woman now. Everything makes me cry for some reason. I was bawling. I was dying. I was like, oh my God, he's so right. It's so stupid. Yeah, that's ridiculous. So he gives this speech, right? The cops come in, officers come in, everybody has guns. I don't know if in the future if UK gets guns, but look forward to it. You guys get guns eventually. How cool is that? I don't think they work with guns. The bobbies or whatever they're called, they're not called that anymore. I don't think anybody calls them bobbies. Hold on. I can't have the chat pulled up here, so I don't know if it's actually, I don't know if anybody's in the chat. So if you are, hi. Oh no, okay. Okay, good. So they come in, they don't know who to shoot because everybody's in a mask. Everybody's in a cape. He throws smoke bombs. There's smoke everywhere. All kinds of stuff happening. It's pure chaos. It's absolutely pure chaos. The PR guys are freaking out. They don't know exactly what to do with any of this. They're blaming each other. They're pointing the finger, this and that. It's crazy. It's absolute crazy. So what ends up happening is V gets away. Obviously, he gets away. Otherwise, the movie doesn't happen. V gets away. They end up shooting somebody else. I don't think the person dies, but they end up shooting somebody else that's in a mask, mistakenly, and then they put it on the news. The terrorist is dead. He's dead. Nobody believes it, but they do end up putting that out in the news, which is so funny. It's so funny that they put it out, but not one of their citizens that we are able to witness believes that he's actually dead. They know what's going on already. They have the number. They have your number, BTN. They don't believe a word of what's going on. In fact, Evie hints to it, saying that the news reporter blinks her eyes a lot when she knows she's telling a false story. And that's essentially what she's doing. And she does it throughout the entire movie because she has to report certain things and certain deaths. And she has to make up these reasons for these deaths so that people aren't catching on that the reason that they're dying is that V is killing them. So good. So good. I have another clip for you guys. I'm not going to play it just yet. But what ends up happening is Mr. Dietrich ends up putting out a very controversial episode of his late night show where he has Chancellor Sutler, the leader of this fascist regime that the UK is under, show up as a guest. Obviously, it's not him. It's a fake, an imposter, or just something silly for him to do. He has him show up, and Chancellor says the terrorist has been eliminated, and he's smoking a cigar, and there's somebody in a Guy Fawkes mask dressed just like V, under the chair, and he's untying his shoes, or he's tying both of his shoelaces to both of his shoes. So silly. And he's playing in the band in the background. And it's just hilarious that they're just making fun of the idea that V is even is even dead. They know he's not. And they're mocking Sutler, basically. So what ends up happening is, obviously, Sutler gets very pissed. So the Fingermen end up at Mr. Dietrich's house, where Evie is staying and hiding out because now she is a wanted person for terrorism. They find out who she is. They find her ID. They figure out that V used her ID to get into the BTN to hack the system and make the speech that he made. So she knows she's a wanted woman. So she does hide out at Dietrich's house. When she gets to Dietrich's house, she realizes, one, he's actually a gay guy. So he has all kinds of erotic pictures in his home, and which is absolutely forbidden. He has a Quran, which is forbidden. He has all kinds of illegal stuff in his house, which is forbidden. For a second, she actually kind of thinks that he's V, because he starts to speak in ways that V does, which is trippy. I don't know why they added that. I guess to throw us off the scent just a little bit, but he wasn't V. But so what happens is, after that very spirited episode of his late night show, the Fingermen show up to his house. They take him away. They beat him, and Creedy is there, who is essentially the vice president to the chancellor. They don't have that over there. I forgot what his title is over there. Let's just call him the vice president, because he has Dick Cheney vibes, and this was in 2005. Okay, so he walks in, and he tells Dietrich, "Not so funny are you now, funny man?" And he beats him, and he beats him with a stick, and then Dietrich falls to the floor. And as he falls to the floor, excuse me, Evie is under the bed, hiding. And she looks at him. She looks at him in his eyes as he's on the floor, and she watches him get black bagged, and he's gone. He's disappeared, just like her parents. Same exact thing that happened to your parents happened to her friend. So she's terrified at this point. Dietrich is gone. They take him away. She's fucking quickly trying to get out and trying to figure out, how the hell am I going to do this? So she goes out to the roof. She starts climbing down the window from the second story. She's about to make it through the gate. As soon as she touches that gate, gotcha! She's black bagged, and she's taken in. She's taken in to a torture chamber where her head is shaved. They shave her head first off. They continuously tell her, "You can get out if you tell us where V is. We need to know." She's tortured for however long it is that she's there. It's months for sure, under a year, but months for sure. While she's in there, she discovers another prisoner that's next to her, who's writing her biography, or writing their biography to Evie, and she's sticking it through a mouse hole, and so that Evie will get a transcript of somebody else's life that's in there. And she writes, "This might be the only autobiography I write, and I'm writing it on toilet paper. Just please listen to my story." So she tells this entire story of her journey, and how she fell in love with another girl at a young age, and she knew she was gay, and how everything changed gradually, just in the blink of an eye. Things just started to change over and over, to the point where she couldn't live the life that she was comfortable living with the woman that she loved. Both her and her girlfriend were taken away for being gay, and they were used in these experiments at the hospital, which was called Parkside Hospital. I don't remember. I should have wrote it down. Didn't write it down. I know the movie, but these names are escaping me at the moment. But this was one of the government operations, and all throughout this entire story, there's these two detectives. Detective Finch is actually trying to piece together what is happening outside of catching V. He's putting all these other pieces together, these other coincidences that weren't coincidences until they were. Prothero, who was the fellow who was the Rush Limbaugh of the UK. he ended up they started to discover that he was an actual commander, an actual leader during some of these government operations that went awry, where thousands, hundreds of thousands of lives were lost. And so the detective is like, well, that's a coincidence. Well, that's weird. That's kind of interesting. So, and during all of Evie's torture, this is what's happening on the other side of the film. So again, Evie gets tortured. She ends up becoming radicalized. She ends up becoming a woman who isn't afraid of death. She tells the fellow who's torturing her, um, uh, no thanks, I'd rather die by firing squad, basically. I'm not going to tell you shit. I'd rather die than tell you anything. Fuck you guys. What radicalized, or at least what helped radicalize her, was the letter that she read from the prisoner in the cell next to her. The person in the cell next to her poured her heart out, just an innocent human being who was deemed evil because the government said so. And it seemed to tear Evie apart. At the end of the scene where Evie tells him, I'd rather die by firing squad, he says, then you have no more fear. You're free to go. She looks at him like, what? And she discovers that she wasn't being tortured by somebody who was her enemy. She was being tortured by somebody she thought was her friend. So let's get back to that. I have another scene for you guys. Let's get there. Another long one, guys. Another long one, okay? Just so you know.
See me now. Every day I wanted to end it. But each time you refused to give in, I knew I couldn't.
You're sick. You're evil.
You could have ended it, Evie. You could have given in, but you didn't. Why?
Leave me alone. I hate you.
That's it! See, at first, I thought it was hate too. Hate was all I knew. It built my world, imprisoned me, taught me how to eat, how to drink, how to breathe. I thought I'd die with all the hate in my veins. But then something happened. It happened to me, just as it happened to you.
Shut up! I don't want to hear your lies.
Your own father said that artists use lies to tell the truth. Yes, I created a lie. But because you believed it, you found something true about yourself.
No.
What was true in that cell is just as true now. What you felt in there has nothing to do with me.
I can't feel anything anymore.
Don't run from it, Evie. You've been running all your life. Listen to me, Evie. This may be the most important moment of your life. Commit to it. They took your parents from you. They took your brother from you. They put you in a cell and took everything they could take, except your life. And you believed that was all there was, didn't you? The only thing you had left was your life, but it wasn't, was it?
Please.
You found something else. In that cell, you found something that mattered more to you in life. Because when they threatened to kill you unless you gave them what they wanted, you told them you'd rather die. You faced your death, Evie. You were calm. You were still. Try to feel now what you felt then.
Oh my God. Ah, it's so good. Right in that next scene, she tells him, I don't feel anything anymore. Like, it's brutal. It's brutal. He tries to justify his actions by telling her, your father used lies to tell the truth because he's an artist. That's all I was doing here. But he tortured her. He tortured a young, innocent female into radicalization. That's wild. That's crazy, and that's wild. So after that scene, Evie does eventually leave. She tries to recover her life. She tries her best to start things over. She's unrecognizable. She even points out the fact that she went to the store, ran into a friend of hers, and the friend didn't recognize her at all. So she felt she felt kind of good about that, actually, that nobody recognized her with the short hair, because again, she's still a wanted woman. This is within 1 year, November 5th to November 5th. So she's still very much a wanted woman here. So she was confident for that little bit that she would be unrecognized. And for the most part, she really was. Uh, the set design in the entire movie is so good, because you see Evie just a few scenes later, and she's in her apartment, and her apartment's very small. You can see very small couch, very small black and white telly, very she has this shelf that's just like planks and then cinder blocks. I just think it's so well done. Like, that's exactly what somebody would have who has zero money and is starting over. You start from somewhere all the time, right? So I thought that was really cool. So bravo to the set designers. um so November 5th approaches. All the while, in between the time Evie leaves and the next November 5th, the detective is still piecing together everything. He definitely realizes that the government has been behind every tragedy, every recent tragedy that that the people have gone through, in order to create this fascism. So they had this event called the Three Waters event, where I think the water supply was poisoned, killed a lot of people. These odd and weird vaccinations that again killed hundreds of thousands of people. They actually stole gay people, homeless people, mentally ill people. They essentially stole these people, including the woman who was writing Evie the letter. Um, they stole these people so that they can use them for these projects. All the while, V throughout the year is avenging all of the people that lost their lives by killing the people that took them. He kills a priest, who I think was a chaplain during the time at one of these hospitals that was doing these vaccinations that was killing people. He kills a doctor who was doing the same thing. She was vaccinating people who against their will, and they ended up passing away. So she also passes away. Prothero passes away. The voice of London, the voice of England, passes away because V kills him. And the news has to cover it up by saying he had a sudden heart attack. It's really interesting stuff, because it's quite relatable to what's going on now and what's been going on the last few years in real life. So what I've learned about Hollywood, I used to work in Hollywood very briefly. It destroyed my life, so I left. But when I was in Hollywood, there are several hints that people give you, and the only thing they give you is hints, because that's all they have to give you. So you pick up the hints, you pick up the seeds, and you do with them what you will. They tell you this isn't the life for everybody. They tell you certain things are going to happen in movies, or why certain things happened in movies. It's really weird. It's called predictive programming, which is an actual real thing that movies and television and commercials do. And it's not predictive programming in the sense of possession necessarily. A commercial. How many times have we watched a commercial and be like, "Oh my God, I need that. Oh my God, I got to buy that." There's consumerism it's at an all-time high right now. Stanley Cups, Labubus. There's so many things. What's the most recent one being the Starbucks Bear Cup. There's so many things that we just get triggered to be like absolutely obsessed with. The same goes for movies. There's triggers, and there's hints, there's things that distract us from what's actually going on until we actually pull the pieces together and we can figure it out. But there's a lot more distraction than there is ability to actually see the big picture. It's on purpose. It's all on purpose. And the movies actually do give us a hint towards that. That's their mea culpa. That's all they have to do is hint to it, and we have to figure it out. You know what I mean? So I guess that's part of conspiracy, but truthfully, it's really not anymore. I think everybody for the most part has figured out that that's exactly what Hollywood does. But I digress on that front. Where was I? So the detective is actually figuring these things out. The time is approaching. November 5th is approaching. It's almost been a year. Evie goes and she visits V for probably the last time. Um, they obviously have a thing for each other. They don't necessarily say it, but she goes and she visits him. And then he tells her the truth. Like he says, from this point on, nothing but truth for you. And he introduces her to the woman who gave her the letter. She actually was real. She actually did pass away because of those vaccines. And V had an entire shrine of scarlet roses dedicated to her, which is the rose that she grew. It's in her autobiography. So he has this whole room, little mini room dedicated to her. And Evie's like blown away, like, oh my God, she was real. And he tells her, the note was given to you just as it was given to me. I think I just played that in the clip, but he tells her that this actually did happen. Um, and it's strange. It's strange because while he was actually also in the hospital. I know I'm probably bouncing around, but he actually was also in the hospital with her. So there's evidence of that because that's the actual letter that he gave to Evie. But while he was in there, he was the only one to survive because he was immune. He kept being immune to the things that they were giving him. He ended up becoming sort of a super soldier. He ended up becoming exactly what they were experimenting for. So that's kind of interesting and kind of creepy that they made the very being that they wanted, and he ended up turning on them. So there's that. Um, so there's that. I do have, that was 1, 2, 3. I do have one more for you guys. I'm not going to play it just yet, but it is coming up soon. It's actually going to be the last scene of the movie. So November 5th comes. He orchestrates this entire thing. It's building up. He gets Creedy on his side, Vice President Creedy. He gets him on his side to betray the Chancellor Sutler at the end. He disguises himself in this old man disguise, Wormwood. That's the fella that he disguises himself as, a dead fella named Wormwood, and he has a detective meet him, and he tells him this entire elongated story about what happened at Three Waters, what happened at the hospital. He tells him everything, and he means every word of it. But why they don't believe it is because they find out later that Wormwood actually passed away. So they were face to face with a terrorist and they didn't even know it, which is pretty cool. Just so well done. So the time has come. The time has come for the 5th of November to come to an end. V ends up fighting Creedy. He ends up fighting his henchman. He's wearing a bulletproof iron vest, so he survives a lot of it, but he knows he's about to die. He kills everybody involved, the Fingerman. He finds Chancellor Sutler. He kills him. So that's the end. Like, that's basically the end of this regime. Once Sutler's is gone, the next is Creedy. He knows he has to kill him too, regardless of the deal that they made together, regardless of how Creedy uh, brought Chancellor Sutler to justice. He has to die too. It's part of vengeance. It's part of getting revenge on and in the honor of everybody that passed away. So he kills him, he chokes him, and then it's time for V to die. So he starts walking back towards the train. He feels this entire train full of explosives. It's an underground that was dead, and it's actually going to be used to drive itself right into Parliament and explode. So he goes back. He's dying. He's on the floor, and he tells Evie he was in love with her. She's clearly in love with him too. He says, I fell in love with you, Evie, and I found other reasons why this needs to happen, and it's going to be your decision. So he figured out that his revenge wasn't as important as what the people actually want. Evie is the one who decides that this is actually what the people want. Now, here's what I didn't tell you guys. On the 5th of November, there were thousands, I think they said 700,000 packages of masks and capes being delivered to the entire country of UK. There was all these kinds of things that were happening. So these people, I think it's London, right? So they all come out. It's middle of the night, about to be November 5th. They're all wearing the V mask. They're all wearing the cape. They're all wearing the hair. They have the full, nobody knows who's who. Everybody is anonymous. They're all wearing this. It's such a cool scene. I have a little bit of it in the next clip I'm going to show you, but it's such a cool scene. It's everybody coming together and figuring out, this is what we want. They don't know Chancellor Sutler's dead, right? They're standing up for themselves regardless of what happened down in the subway. They don't know any of that. They are genuinely standing up for themselves. They are genuinely tired of all of it. It's so inspiring. So the train flies in. It flies in to, well, you know what I mean. Flies into Parliament, and the fun begins. It's about to begin. Tchaikovsky's 1812 overture starts playing again, just like it did at the Bailey. And everything starts to explode. People are watching it in awe. It's so amazing. And this is the last scene that I have for you guys. Here, I'm going to pull it up now. Sorry for the lag. There's a little bit of a lag, but it's not too bad. It could be way worse. Here we go. Oh, no, not this one. Hold on. I thought I pulled the other one. Hold on. Time out. Time out, T-Mart. There we are.
Who was he?
He was Edmond Dantes. And he was my father. And my mother. My brother. My friend. He was you. And me. He was all of us. No one will ever forget that night and what it meant for this country. But I will never forget the man and what he meant to me.
That's so good. I'm telling you, this movie makes me cry. Oh, my bad. There we go. I'm telling you guys, this movie does make me cry. Like, it really does. Oh, hold on. There we go. So that's how it ends. The bad guy loses, the good guy wins. The terrorist wins in this film. So there's that too. There's that too. The idea that they invert things so much in Hollywood that, oh, the bad guy's winning, the terrorist is winning. Kind of, this is why I didn't want to watch Wicked. I know I'm going on a rant, but that's why I didn't want to watch Wicked. Like, evil's winning, evil's a good guy. What? I loved it. Oh my God, I love Wicked so much. But this is an insane inversion on domestic terrorism, right? It's calling it what it is, but also seeing it as essentially beneficial to the people of the country that it's in. So it's just an interesting movie. So good. If you have not seen V for Vendetta, I highly, highly, highly recommend it. It'll change your life forever. It's so good, and it's so relatable, and it's so realistic to today. There's so many protests going on right now in Mexico. This isn't right. There's so many protests going on in UK and France. This isn't right. We don't like this. We're trying to do it here in the United States, but we're so damn divided and crying over this and that we don't know how to get together and do that. Also, this country's huge. It's massive. There's no way in hell we're going to do that the way France does and the way UK does. Like, I can't call my neighbor and be like, okay, I'll be there in 3 hours. You know what I mean? Like, the whole country's like this big. Like, you can travel like this and you'll be there soon. Like, I'll be there at the end of the day type shit. You know what I mean? So, like, we don't have that. We're at such a disadvantage. We're so divided, like, literally and figuratively. We're so divided as a country. But what a fantasy. What a lovely thing to have, is to have this unity of something's not right here. Let's fix it. Us, we'll fix it. V says governments, people should not be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid of their people. And that's, no truer words have ever been spoken. That's the absolute truth. This country was built on that idea alone, that the government is supposed to be minimalized. We're not supposed to go to them for this and that. No. Go chop your own wood. Go find your own food. Things have changed. The government made it so that we rely on them for most everything now. This movie is so good, so relatable. I have some did you knows. That's I just literally showed you the end of the movie. That's exactly how the movie ends. Spoilers. Sorry guys, it is what it is. Go watch it. It's from 2005. It's like a 20-year-old movie. You guys relax. So did you know? Did you knows? Did you know? Let's go. The domino scene. So there is this scene in the movie, especially if you've seen it. Let's go. There's a scene where V sets up a domino set, where it's black dominoes with his symbol, the V, the V. I was doing Wu-Tang, the V symbol, and there's a whole domino set. So that entire thing, 22,000 dominoes, 200 hours. That's how long it took. So and by domino like professionals, I didn't know that was a thing, but apparently there are domino professionals to set something like that up. Of course it's a thing. It was actually done really pretty. It's a really pretty scene. So go watch it. Secondly, the fire scene was done by a stuntman named Chad Stileski, and he actually walked through flames wearing nothing but gel retardant and a G-string. So there is a scene where the doctor is actually writing in her diary, and she's describing how there is this one man who's immune to all the vaccines we give him. He's so powerful. He's immune. And he actually is the one that sets the hospital on fire. Everybody's already dead, right? So he actually is coming out of the flames, out of the burning building, and the doctor sees his face, and she says, "I locked in with his eyes. He was looking right at me, but he had no eyes, but he was looking right at me." So in that fire scene, dude comes out fully naked, giant, fully naked dude, but burning. So yes, the fire scene stuntman, Chad Zelensky. I'm sorry, Stileski. Zelensky is a different guy. Stileski actually walked through flames wearing nothing but gel retardant and a G-string. Okay, my brain. Okay. Anyway, lastly, did you know that the shooting schedule that they had around Parliament and around the Big Ben was from 12 a.m. to 4:30 a.m. and they were only allowed to film 4 minutes at a time. They were only allowed to film 4 minutes at a time. That's crazy. It's crazy. There's actually a lot of night scenes that they actually filmed, and I'm sure there's extras and pre-posts that they didn't use. So 4 minutes at a time, it was their allotted time frame to film these scenes. So brilliantly done, so good. I think that's all I have for you guys. I don't think there's anybody in the chat tonight. No problem. It was a fun episode. I think I blurted it out a little bit too quickly because I was so excited to talk to you guys about it. It was so good. I love this movie. If you have not seen it, please, I highly recommend it. Also, the accents are super heavy. So like, if you're like me and you're obsessed with the British accent, like go for it because you can learn some things. So thank you guys. Thank you guys so much. Once again, if you guys enjoyed this episode, please leave a thumbs up. It's for free. Subscribe to the channel if you actually like what's going on. That's also free. If you like what's going on, I can guarantee you production's going to get better. I apologize for the audio. I don't know what it's going to sound like. I'm actually going to rewatch it now once this is over so I can figure out different things about the audio. It did sound weird to me. I don't know what it sounds like to you guys. I assume it probably sounds the same. So thank you guys for your patience as I'm trying to figure things out. I'm new to this. I am an old woman figuring out new technology. So thank you for bearing with me. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend, California, and stay dry. Drive safe, you guys. Use commonsensical, okay? Like drive gooder than you do when it's not wet. All right. Love you guys so much. I will see you guys next Thursday. Bye-bye.